just reduces my power and so on, and if the people get used to evasion of law, then what will happen? For 8 years we behave in a manner that the head of the government and the government evade the law. But then after 8 years, I don't say in this government, then if someone comes to power who just capitalizes on the same sense, then what will happen to the country? Well, let me just make other points. Evading or refraining from implementing the fourth development plan. There are strange discussions about this. I don't know. I wonder if the government can treat a law just like this, because it's opposed to a law. It should be replaced by another law approved by the government and then implement that, saying that I'm not going into the details because I want to save my time, and if necessary I'll discuss them. And then dissolution of the high councils and refraining from implementing the enactment of the parliament and the expediency council. Then the government insists that I'm not going to implement them on different excuses. I don't think that we have any higher organization or institution than the expediency council, which is supported by the leader of the revolution. It is so important that on the basis of expediency it can go beyond the Sharia. We have discussed all these over there, and then 18 councils that were dissolved by the government, by the council, to be restored, but the government hasn't restored them yet. So one of them is the the monetary council, and the 25% inflation is because one of the reasons for this inflation is the dissolution of the council. Another problem is that the government wants the control of all the banks and all the organizations, so that the representatives of the judiciary and the private sector are not there. So as a result, we just face this inflation and the economic situation. The industry is facing problem. Inflation is 25%, and everybody is just crying. These are the result of those policies. The liquidity is 2.5% more, 2.5 times compared to the time that you just came to power. I'm not going to refer to the procedure, to the proceedings of the parliament and regarding the public tribunal, which is one of the most important tribunals. The dissolution of the budget and organization planning and budget and planning organization is one of those problems. I'm very sensitive about this organization, because when I was in power, I thought that some people may be opposed to plan, because some people were opposed to plans in the early days of the revolution, because they said just trust in God and we don't need plans. They wanted to go their own way because of this problem in the parliament, in the Council of Revision of the Constitution. I was in the executive committee, and then specifically I proposed the establishment of the management and plan organization, and also the employment organization, and they have been incorporated in the constitution. But now you have dissolved them and just reduced it to a deputy or to the directorate, which is not accountable. Also the taxation, if necessary I'll go into the details. Also you have announced the banning of the value-added taxes, which is not within your prerogative, and also the government services. I'm just listing them because if necessary. And then also you wanted to add the Hajj organization to the tourism organization and heritage organization, and then on the hint of the leaders, you just restored it. You shouldn't do it because it is illegal. And also lack of attention to the courts, to the law regarding the courts. In a case, the Minister of Science says that asks the administrative tribunal not to do so, and he's very proud of that. He says, addressing the university president, who is also a war victim, says that in case, then the president should interfere in the case, and then many times it has been said that the university professor is so and so, and he has written a letter. He might be opposed to that person, and through legal procedures he can remove him, but inattention to the cordon certificate and also violation of the law of having more than one job or designation and so on. I think that instead of just creating forging cases against others, it's better to just solve the problems, to solve the difficulties of the country, to save the country from the crisis. I very honestly and without any personal involvement, I entered the race because the government is evading the law. If the government not once, not twice, not thrice evades the law and just consider it as a method and procedure to oppose the law wherever it is against its interest, while the parliament has approved those laws, which is also in line with the president, then when the people lose their sensitivities to this issue, so should we feel the danger? Shouldn't we be concerned about these developments?
10 minutes is over. Well, let me just inform our viewers that Mr. Mussawi has been talking for 30 minutes and 51 seconds, and Mr. Ahmedinejad spoke for 34 minutes and 17 seconds. Mr. Ahmedinejad, please.
I should repeat what I said before regarding the judgments of Mr. Mussawi. This government has trampled upon law. You're referring only to one parliament ratification, and there's a law on councils. The Guardian Council says no, it's against the Constitution. Expediency Council accepts that. If you want to implement the law, and why don't you write to the body in charge to complain against this? If there is anything against the law, there is a government body to look into
Mr.
this.
Ahmedinejad, you only have 8 minutes left.
We have 45 minutes.
If we have more time, we will still distribute the time.
I think you should continue this for 3-4 hours, because for the past 3 years they have been attacking us all together, and you give us 45 minutes, 3 people facing 1 person? Okay, no problem. Based on documents we have at hand in the previous government, the number of the government ratifications which were annulled were 303. In our government it's 157. The ratifications that were annulled by the Administrative Justice Department is again much lower than the previous government, who is abiding by the law. We are acting based on exactly the regulations stipulated. If you ask some lawyers, they will set you straight on that. If you think we're acting against the law, why didn't you pass a note to the Administrative Justice Department, and they will see to it. If you simply mention this X happened there and Y happened somewhere, this is a great country, and maybe lots of things happen in different corners. In your government, many things happen too. We are not after creating, fabricating dossiers and files. Mr. Gordon's story is this. During Mr. Hashemi's government, who is a supporter of Mr. Mussawi, there was a wave created among managers, government managers. All of them wanted to get doctoral degree, and the Azad University was behind this, and they were issuing doctoral degrees one after another in a row. And there was a wave. Gordon was also among one of those officials. I told in Parliament that I do not recognize such certificates and degrees. A university lecturer, a PhD holder, or somebody who should burn a lot of midnight oil and take a lot of pains. There are lots of people in this country studying hard. I said I do not recognize any of these. Can you tell us how many people during your time and Mr. Hashemi's time, how many people got their PhDs? Like that, Mr. Kurdan was also one of them. In Parliament, I said the same thing. Look at his performance. Forget about his degree. Regarding somebody else who said that there are hundreds of billions, millions of dollars, I really don't know if he was an army commander. Was an army commander during Mr. Khatami's